Hey guys, it's Daniel. Welcome back.
At the 2016 South by Southwest Festival, Nirvana producer Butch Vig shared his thoughts on modern-day electronic music, and he also compared the modern-day musical landscape to what things were like musically just before Nevermind blew up. Quote, EDM is hot right now, but I think it'll burn out. There's always been club music. EDM just turned a lot of DJs into superstars, where they can walk in with their laptop and get paid $500,000 for pressing play for 90 minutes. Hey, more power to them. I wish I could do that. I think there is so much music out there that is mediocre. Not just EDM, but folk music, hip-hop music, because there's so much music out there. Before, it was hard to put music out. So at the end of the day, you have to put something out that's good, whether it's EDM or folk music. And how many bands are on YouTube now? 10 million? You go on SoundCloud and check out all the EDM tracks out there, and every now and then, one sounds interesting. But it's a lot of real soullessness. There's no human passion in it, and it's just a mixture of interesting sounds. I think people are going to get bored with that. Nirvana happened at the end of the 80s because a lot of the music that was dominating the charts was very slick. And when Nirvana came along, it was so visceral and primal that it freaked people out, you know? They thought, wow, this is the real thing. The reason that record was so big is the timing. If Nirvana came out with Nevermind today, it would not have even remotely the same impact. End quote. In a different interview, this one with Headliner magazine published in 2014, Butch was asked the following question. Has modern technology had a detrimental effect on some of today's guitar bands? This was Butch Vig's response. Well, a lot of bands are certainly smart to it. They know they can come in and get it close, then fix it and make it perfect. When I hear a band on the radio that sounds really good, then I go and see them live and they're really sloppy, that bums me out a little bit. You know, they've been manipulated in the studio. The great thing about digital technology, though, is people use it to do really cool things that you can't do in a live environment. Every record doesn't need to sound au naturel, like a live band set up in a room. I mean, EDM artists, electronic bands, hip-hop artists, even a lot of pop artists, they don't care about a real drum kit. It's a complete blend, and there are all sorts of different styles. You need digital technology to do that, and couldn't necessarily recreate that live. End quote. In an interview with the Houston Free Press in 2016, Butch Vig said the following, quote, EDM has been hot for a number of years now. That's just an extension of club music, which has been around since the 70s, especially when disco became really huge. I mean, people have always liked to go out on the weekend and get crazy and listen to music. It's also part of the culture. People want to have fun. It can be very communal going to a club. I feel like it'll burn out a little bit like any type of music. It just goes in cycles. Every sort of genre that has become huge, even going back to disco or new wave or punk or grunge or even when pop became huge, people's tastes change. They want something new and fresh. They'll get burnt out on a certain sound and search for something new. It's always been that way. If I knew what the next big thing would be, I'd put all my money on it right now. But no one knows what it is, you know? Music is such a hybrid of styles right now. You can hear a hip-hop track on the radio that samples sounds from all types of music. Country music is starting to do hip-hop beats. There's electronic influence everywhere. With the technology now, you can just mix up all of the influences together, like Garbage did on our first record. End quote. In that same interview, he was asked the following question, quote, given your stance on the importance of music, I'm sure you've been asked about your stance on streaming sites like Spotify and YouTube. But for those who have not heard, how do you feel about it? Are the artists treated fairly? The following was Butch Vig's response. Well, to me, clearly, music has taken a back seat to a lot of other forms of entertainment. Kids don't mind paying 99 cents for an app, but there's no way they want to pay 99 cents for a song, or I would say 95% of people. There are still some people who will pay, like me, who will go to iTunes and buy something if I want it, but I'm a different generation than the new one. But it's the way of the future, you know? Everyone is going to have to accept that now. I don't really use Spotify very much, but I use it occasionally. I find it valuable if I want to hear a song that I heard on an ad or the radio. If I want to check it out, I can go there. But if I really want a song, I'll buy it. Streaming, right now, is the way of the future. It's also going to be that way for television. I mean, look how successful Netflix has gotten. People don't need to own the content anymore. They just want to have access to it 24 hours a day. To me, Artists have always gotten ripped off in not just music, but also writers. It's hard to get decent wages. There are painters, poets, artists in general, that seem to be at the bottom of the totem pole. It bums me out that it's harder for musicians to make money, especially when people don't value the content of music anymore. Everybody wants music 24/7, and they hear it 24/7, but they don't want to pay for it.